Welcome everybody to the weekly WP Roundup with BJ Keeton. That's me, and every Friday afternoon we get together and we talk about some of the best news and tutorials and resources that were published this week about WordPress. This week is unlike any other, where we finally have some big news that you guys have been waiting for from Elegant Themes. So make sure that you say hi in the chat. Make sure that you ask any questions that you may have. Throw any comments there. And let's learn what's going on. So I hope everybody has been having an absolutely fantastic week, having a fantastic day so far. Apparently I covered up my YouTube comments, and they are coming in hot on this one. So how are you guys doing? Lots of people. I'm super glad to see everybody in here. That's great. So it's Friday the 13th. I know that that is generally not a good thing. A lot of people say. I always think it's wonderful, though. My wife was born on Friday the 13th, but like January, and so she says that her birthday is just Friday the 13th. So every time it comes up, I just tell her happy birthday. So I'm really excited today because we have good luck today. The first thing I wanted to point out, you guys have been asking for this forever. We have at Elegant Themes announced and released the WooCommerce update for Divi. I always I've been waiting to be able to show you guys this, to talk to you guys about this. I know that you guys have been wanting this for so long, and if you have not updated Divi yet, please go update your Divi and Extra installation so that you can get the absolutely amazing WooCommerce modules update. It is glorious, you guys. You guys are going to absolutely love it if you have not updated yet. It is just brilliant. I've seen stuff done with it. I've seen what the design team can do, and what. I honestly can't remember who did this, the article that I've put in the resources, but it is brilliant. Speaking of, Donietta did. Speaking of, under the tutorial section of this video description, you'll see the how to create a minimal product page with Divi's WooCommerce modules. So we've already got you some stuff to download and have examples to show you. There are examples in the builder that you can use, and so we're just really excited to have this show up for you guys. One thing I do want to point out that I've seen some comments on the main post and in some Facebook groups, so I want to point out that if you don't have WooCommerce installed, this isn't going to show up for you. So you're not going to have the bloat of having extra stuff that you want, or extra stuff that you may not need for a particular project. So it is you're not going to see these if you don't have WooCommerce installed. So I wanted to get that out there because I know that that's a concern for a lot of you guys. I'm really excited about this one. This is one update that we absolutely had to get out before we could get the theme builder out. Nick had made a comment on the WooCommerce blog. It's the first link in the description of the video. That if you read through the comments, one of the comments is from Nick saying that we needed to make sure that we got this one out. Otherwise, product templates wouldn't work when the theme builder comes out. So while that's not in this particular update, it's coming in 2 to 3 weeks, which is also what he said about the theme builder with header and footer, customization, templates, blog templates, page templates, post templates, all of that stuff that you can do. That will be coming in 2 to 3 weeks, he said. So look for that at the end of September to the beginning of October. That is the next thing on the docket. Very crazy excited about this. But that wasn't the only update we did this week. Nick also posted a blog on that we updated Divi to make the builder more efficient, faster on the way it uses your machine resources and your browser resources. So you should see a significant increase in speed for using the builder. It is, I noticed it this morning, actually. I hadn't used any of the builder itself over the last few days since it had updated. I was working on a project this morning, opened it up, and it really was faster. I was using Firefox on Windows 10. Had, goodness gracious, I'm looking right now, 7, 12, 16 tabs open right now, and I know there were more than that when I was working on the project. So the system resources were already being hogged, and the Divi builder was incredibly fast for me. I was really impressed. So I got that update, and I can say hands-on, like that one is great to be able to update to. So I really wanted you guys to make sure that you know that. The big thing about that particular update, and one that I want you guys to be aware of, is that is making the new builder experience the default view for installations. So be aware that you're going to get the new, faster, better builder by default, rather than having it be opt-in from this point on. So just be aware of that when you're going into it. The other one is still available. It's still there. You just have to enable it this time rather than the other way around. I do implore you, though, if you're a Classic Builder user, you are experiencing you are experiencing some slowdown right now, and I'm certain of it just because that's the way the technology works. Please try this new one. Please try the new Divi Builder experience, or as we call it, Divi. Make sure that you try it, because it is much better now than when you probably tried it last. And the wireframe mode that you can enable is very comparable to the Classic Builder, and it's more efficient, faster, that kind of thing. I ended up working a lot in the wireframe mode, which was improved from where it was a long time ago to where it works like the back-end builder now. So y'all check that out. I think you will really like what you see on that one. I see Rahid asks on Facebook, when is 4.0 coming? That is coming in 2 to 3 weeks. Nick posted today in the comments of the WooCommerce blog that we're expecting it the end of September to the beginning of October. So we're looking in 2 to 3 weeks, is what he said. I'm very excited about that one, so hopefully you guys... Man, my foster dog just made a really good noise for you guys. The Divi Builder 4.0 is coming out next week. Not next week, excuse me, 3 to 4 weeks. I saw the word next on the on the screen, and I got distracted. Daryl on YouTube says the plugin I talked about last week said they're not going to fix anything to work with the new editor in Divi. I'm sorry about that, Daryl. I apologize. One thing that you could always do is contact our support and just see if there's anything that they know of to do. If you haven't talked to our support about it, it's a good idea to get in there. The token that you can exchange between our support and your backend might actually gives them access to be able to see what your setup is and what it's doing. They might have some suggestions on what you can do to make things work a little bit better. I'm sorry about the support on that end. I understand that end, but on their end, but I hate that for you. But ask support to get in there with one of the tickets, the tokens. That may find something that could fix it, or at least help with it. I see David says, "Great, Mike. I appreciate it." That is the Rode Procaster. I think it's really awesome. It's kind of what we use as a team. I'm liking it a great deal. It's a big upgrade from the Yeti that I had, the Blue Yeti. But yeah, try that, Daryl. Let me know how that goes. I hate to hear that you have had that issue still. Let's see. George asks. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so on YouTube, George has the suggestion of, I would like to see you present a project workflow and how you deal with it. We do something similar to that on Tuesdays and Thursdays with our use case live streams where Jason and Donietta work on a Divi project and go through the workflow of getting it. But is there anything in particular that you would like to see on that one? Because I'm going to make myself a note in my handy dandy Game Boy notebook this time on what doing a project workflow post, so that we can show, beginning to end from installation of Divi all the way down, that I could totally see that being very, very useful for the community. We deal with it. This is the fun part about it being live, when I absolutely need to take a note like that. My scrawl and my scribble takes a while to get out there. But that would be awesome, George. I would like to see that as well. It would not be me that does that, because I'm probably not the best at the efficiency side of Divi. But I will certainly put it in the Asana board to see. Now, the next piece of news that I read is actually really interesting. It's not WordPress related so much, but it's there's a WordPress Tavern, WP Tavern article that they announced. I didn't see that Google had announced this. They're announcing new ways to identify no-follow links, which I thought was really, really cool, because right now all we've got is no-follow. And that means that for whatever reason you get a no-follow to this link, which means that Google is not going to give it any link juice from your site for one reason or another. Maybe it's an ad, maybe it's something that you don't want to actually promote, and you're linking there to as an example of evidence on how not to do things. But it's something that it doesn't have any kind of nuance or detail to it. So the Google has announced, WP Tavern shows that they now have a rel equals sponsored, rel equal UGC for user-generated content. And they're calling this a hint model, which will go into effect March 1st of next year. And I was really glad that they gave us these 6 months ahead of time to start using these, to really be able to pad out the projects that are coming, and that we can go out and update the archives that we have for this kind of stuff already. I think that one would be that one's going to be really, really useful to people. It's something that I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do that in WordPress, natively, because they talked about in this article as well that Gutenberg has the block editor that's in WordPress now has a pull request for adding a no-follow option to a link. Just within the option itself, or within the builder itself, without having to go into the HTML. And apparently that one is being waited on. That they're saying that's not a useful enough feature to actually put into core. That they're asking if that would adhere to the WordPress 80-20 rule, where will 80% of WordPress users benefit from it, and I don't see why not. Like, that one is far more useful than most of the block editor blocks that they have. It's there's somebody in the comments of this article who mentions she was like, I understand the philosophy, but how many people use the verse block for Gutenberg? There are a lot of things like that are out there. So I'm hoping that we get something that means that we don't have to go into the HTML, and that it's just going to be like the no open and open a new tab. It's going to be super useful to have that, because I like the block editor, but stuff like that and getting into the HTML of blocks, once I actually get it formatted, it messes things up when you go back and forth. Just don't like it. Don't like that part of it. So I'm looking forward to them actually adding that in. Torin asks on YouTube, are Elegant Themes looking into providing more features for hosting podcasts on our Divi sites, considering that Google are starting to take listing podcasts seriously? I don't know. That's something that I want to have discussions about. I've actually talked with multiple Divi users over the past month or two who are using Divi specifically for podcast sites, and have hit on a couple of pain points with them, and that I've run into as well, that I'm going to continue having conversations with, because that one is kind of a personal side project pet peeve that I want it, where it's like that's the feature I want, you guys. But right now, the best that I use is PowerPress, and to get it out there, if you're going to be using WordPress for it. I mean, I know that's pretty much what everybody does. Simplecast is very good as well. I really would love to have the audio player on Divi be able to recognize RSS feeds. Would make me very, very, very happy like that. But it's something that I don't think it's a high priority, but it's definitely a conversation that is being started from you, other members of the community, and me. So it's Google is starting to take those listings very, very seriously, especially among when you've got Apple Podcasts are now showing up as individual episodes, just like YouTube videos do. That it's a very, very strong need for the upcoming next couple of years. So it's definitely something I'm going to continue having a conversation with. If for no other reason, like I said, for selfish reasons, because I really want it. And it's like teachers always said when we were in school, that if you have that question, then somebody else does too. So that's the way I feel. It's like if we're running into that problems as a team, somebody else is. So we hopefully will get things that work for everybody. I see Rake Design asks, what about the theme builder? 2 to 3 weeks, Rake Design. That one is, Nick said today in a comment on the WooCommerce plugins or modules that we have, that those should be out in about 2 to 3 weeks. So that will be the next feature that's released, and he's looking at 2 to 3 weeks for the release on that one. So cross our fingers that it's sooner rather than later, but we should see that no later than the beginning of October if timelines hold, according to Nick. So really excited about that one. I know you guys are too. I know y'all are crazy about that one. And this WooCommerce update needed to come out before then, so that the pages and product descriptions or product templates would work with it. So we're getting there, and we're almost there. Y'all kind of have a preview of it right now with the with WooCommerce Builder. So there's that. Now, the last bit of news that I wanted to point out this week was they finally put out the 2020 theme for you to actually use and test on your own. I think that it is moving in a good direction. It is one of the better default themes that I've seen in the last few years. I haven't been a big fan of any of them since I think 2014 was the last one that I used on site. It might have been 2015. But they're that I've really liked, and this one's looking very, very good. This one seems to be a lot more solid in terms of design than 2019 is, and the where it looks like it's basically an upgrade of 2019, which is what we want. There are really cool things going on with it, and you can click the link at the bottom of the news section in the description of the video, and you can check it out. And there's a GitHub link where you can actually go in and download it and install it on your sites to play with. It's probably not the best idea to use it on a production site right now in the form that it's in, because it's not in core, and it definitely will be changing. But I think that you guys will really, really like it. One thing that I thought was great about this particular design is they've taken to using really, I hate to say block style elements, but it's block elements, and have made quotes go outside the size of the content area, where rather than making them smaller and more compact, it hit my pop screen. It will go out to the width of the page with a different color and block it off. Like, it's really, really, really good. Sorry, I got distracted by comments on this one. But yeah, I really like this one and the way it's headed up so far, the way it's headed so far. So I think I'm really, really gonna like this one. I think y'all, hopefully, I will too. I see Simo. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. I like you too. I'm not sure why you have no sound. I think other people are hearing me. I'm showing that it's registering uh, on my software and my it's actually registering for the wrong mic on my software that I didn't realize, so I apologize for that one. I will figure out that. I thought I'd had that fixed. I tested it beforehand, and apparently it's not liking me again. But it should be going. I'm seeing all the stuff go through. That said, let me get back to that chat. So that said, that's the news this week. I mean, I know that that's a lot, but it's big this week, you guys. The WooCommerce builder is huge. So please update Divi, update Extra, update your Divi builder plugin that you may be using with a different theme, and get the WooCommerce modules in there. That will also make sure that you get the speed update that we did this week so that your builder will be much faster, much quicker, that's the same thing, and much more efficient. I think you guys will really, really like those. That said, I want to thank everybody who's come in just a little bit late. Thanks for saying hi, everybody. I'm glad that there's sound. People are saying that. I see Jerry on Facebook. Hello. I see Kenny and Augustine coming in. Hi, you guys. And I want to move on into the tutorials so that we can go forward. I did mention this one just briefly before above when I was talking about the WooCommerce modules, and Donyetta did a blog on how to create a minimal product page with Divi's WooCommerce modules that has a download in the site or on the page, and has a tutorial on how to actually use the new modules and get the WooCommerce builder going. It's very, very awesome. It's so, like, y'all, I can't even describe how great this builder is. So if you're wanting to see some of the wizardry that Donyetta does with the WooCommerce builder, check the blog that's in the beginning of the tutorial section of the description of this video. I see video asked, did the display settings module thumb get reviewed? I don't think so at this point. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of theme builder QA going on for that. I'm not sure what other projects are being worked on specifically, but I know that they're out there. I haven't looked, so I'm not 100% on that one. I know that is a performance hog and work hog on you and other people using the gallery modules. So I know that one's on the list. That's all I know right now. Speaking of WooCommerce, I figure when I saw that WP Beginner did an ultimate guide to using WooCommerce, how could I not put that in here? I know that WooCommerce is one of those things that it's easy to use, but it's also incredibly overwhelming if you don't know where to start, how to do anything, if you've never really done it before. So they break everything down. They're showing you how to get WooCommerce set up, how to get your products in there, what everything means. They break it down really, really well. So if you are interested in doing e-commerce and you haven't in the past, look through this WP Beginner article, learn how to use WooCommerce, and then open up Divi and make it the absolute best product page that you possibly can. Because what is so great about this update that people are going to love, I think, is that this is going to let you break everything apart and not be stuck in the same kind of template that you've had before. You're not going to have that same kind of, I don't want to say generic, that same boilerplate kind of product pages that you'll see everywhere. This will give you, our builder is going to give you a lot of a lot of different design, just like you do on every single other page that you're using Divi. You can consider these just individual modules for whatever you need. Nick did also say, I saw in a post, that there is likely a version 2 of this coming out after the theme builder at some point that will include more options and modules for you guys. So this isn't the end of it, but this will give you what you need for the time being. And I see Nassim, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Where do I see the new modules? Do I have to install WooCommerce first? Yes, you do. You will not have these in your builder if you don't have WooCommerce installed. So if you go and activate WooCommerce on any site, these will show up in your builder. And you can check out the blog, the first one under tutorials, to specifically see how Donyeta uses them to work into the page design, as well as the videos that come along with the initial announcement blog post, and as well as, I believe, Mac, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because I think you're in the Facebook chat, that there will be a live stream on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern to go over this feature release. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the schedule that I know about. So once you guys get WooCommerce installed, play around with it a bit over the weekend. You'll be able to ask some questions. There will also be a live stream next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, because at the same time as this stream, that'll be a Divi use case that I'm not sure if it's going to deal with WooCommerce or not, but it will be placed for questions and things like that to be asked as well. Preferably to the stream that's going on with the tutorial there, but that's when we are live next. I see Elizabeth on Facebook is excited for the new updates, and Dan too. Hi, you guys. I'm glad that we're getting stuff out that you guys like, and getting some useful info out there. That is entirely our plan. That is what we do. More than anything else, that's something that we strive to do. So I'm glad that y'all are excited about this one. And I'm glad that you like this update. I know that you're frustrated about some things, especially with the gallery one, but I hope that this one can at least help a little while for the time being. And under the tutorial section, just a little bit further, there is a freemius.com blog. I really like the Freemius blog. I haven't used Freemius a lot as a seller, because I'm not really a seller of plugins and themes and that kind of thing, but I really like their plugin. I really love their website, because Freemius puts lots of case studies on there to show how very, very few or very, very many users and of their service and developers can actually use their service and others to make money, and business practices, and what works and what doesn't. And this one is how to have a $100,000 WordPress product launch. And while yes, there is a good chance that your product launch will not make $100,000 immediately. That happens. These kinds of case studies with Freemius's blog are always engaging. They're always interesting, and they show what steps they took, so that you can see if there's a step that you need to be adding into your launches and product marketing. I like the way they do that, going over everyone's already successful launches, so that they can see, and it doesn't have to tie into Freemius. That's the thing I like about it, is that yes, of course, I mean, they're going to want you to use their software, but it's something where you don't have to launch with it, and these are universal kinds of case studies. So I really like that, and think you guys should check it out. I see I see Martin on YouTube, or on Facebook, excuse me. Has anyone had an issue with 3.28? Can't get the visual builder to load. Most likely you would need to, and I can't remember what we are. I think we're way past that. For some reason, my brain decided not to remember what version of Divi we're on right now. But I would update. The main thing in terms of that is always make sure that you have the latest version of Divi. That is absolutely the number one thing that everyone will tell you, because that has patched any of the issues that may be compatibility issues with a different plugin or something along those lines, with a PHP version, anything at all. Yes, we have updated now to 3.29.1 is what I've got right now. And so if it is the most updated version, if you have the number wrong, like you said on Facebook just now, check and make sure that you have 3.29.1. So with that said, there is an issue that Nick said that we will have a fix pushed out today for where the visual builder may not load. You might be running into that. You can look in the first link in the description of this video, the one that's the WooCommerce update blog, and search for Nick's name. You will find just look for Nick Roach, and you will, with Control F, and it'll bring you to theirs. Obviously, you know how to do that, but look for that, and you'll see what specifically the hang up is there, if that's the one that you're having, if the update today will fix it. And if you're not on 3.29.1, I highly suggest that one, because there's a good chance that will fix it. If you haven't fixed it with that, I've had clearing my browser's cache, not my site cache, but my browser cache, has made locked Visual Builder load when it wouldn't before. I've also had where I couldn't actually get content on the page to load, and for one reason or another, and I have opened up the purple ellipsis and actually been able to open up the wireframe mode and been able to work in that. So if there's anything like that, one of those should fix it for the time being. And if none of those fixes it, obviously the wireframe mode like that, as much as I love wireframe mode, that's kind of a hacky workaround just to prevent it from stalling out on you at this very moment. Contact support. Our support can get into the back end of your site with a token exchange, completely secure between us and you, and they can look at exactly what that is, and it is much faster than having to deal with support tickets and back and forth, even on live chat. So check that out. I hope that you guys, you get that one fixed. Because like we said, we know there is an issue, and I don't exactly know what that one is, but a fix is coming later today, Nick said. And not being able to get safe mode to load, I don't know about that one. You say that one, I have no clue. I have not seen that one. That might be a support ticket on that. I apologize for not knowing that one. And you ask about a caching plugin that's best with Divi. I know Cloudflare, like Dan says, is very good. It's not a plugin, but it's a CDN. I use WP Fastest Cache with Divi on most of my sites. That's the one I've just had the most luck with. And that's luck with any theme, not just Divi. I've had problems myself, and I do believe it's user error. Let me say that. I do believe that it's user error when it comes in on like W3 cache. I've had issues with, say, that one in particular. But WP Fastest Cache works really well with Divi for me. All of my current sites are built on Divi and use that one. I'm sure other people in the comments on YouTube and on Facebook have their preference on how they want to use and how the cache is used on their sites and what they use. But that's the one I personally use. That is not an Elegant Themes endorsement. That is a BJ Keeton has that, and he's looking at it in his sidebar right now as he checked the Divi version. So that's what I use. Any of them will work though. That's the thing. WP Rocket is amazing. I know that I can't remember the iThemes one. If it's bundled into iThemes Security now, the iThemes one works really great. But like I said, that's the one I just have installed because it's easy, it's simple, and I haven't been able to break it with my sausage fingers. So that's the one I use. I see Digit says it's a very awaited update, the WooCommerce one, and it is. It's so good. I hope if you haven't gotten to play with that one yet that you're going to enjoy it. Next down the tutorials, I thought this one was really cool. The AliExpress dropshipping, how to start a dropshipping business easily that WP Lift did. Sorry, I got distracted by the my foster dog Ava saying hi. I love dropshipping businesses, and so check out the AliExpress dropshipping because this one's neat because it's specifically for using AliExpress and connecting you with merchants in China and making these kinds of things more easily accessible, as well as being able to get you the drop shipping know-how to do it with other ones. I see Ryan Knowlton on YouTube asked if I can screenshot my WP fastest cash options. Man, Ava, you are happy. I sure can, Ryan. One thing that if you don't mind emailing me, it's bj@elegantthemes.com. I would be happy to send that to you for the ones that I've got just on this site that the primary one that I'm using it on. I took it just so I can, but can't really host it right now and post it in the chat here. But yeah, shoot me an email if you want that to see how I've got it done with that. Sure thing. Like I said, bj@elegantthemes.com, and I'll get you there. So let me see where I'm at. Oh, that was the next one I wanted to cover as well. I'm going to toss that in the live chat while I think that I'm not 100% sure why YouTube is telling me that I'm not signed into my own chat, but yes, Ava, I understand that you're here. The reason she's doing this, and the reason that I have her in the room while I'm live streaming here, is because she is heartworm positive and going through the second round of her heartworm treatment, which is actually pretty dangerous for dogs. Within the first couple of weeks, especially after getting an injection of it, and she is 1 week in, if she gets too excited, she is in a lot of danger at that point. So I have to keep an eye on her pretty much at all times, and to be able to calm her down if she gets too excited. So I keep her in here, and she is apparently just wanting to join in on the conversation. So I apologize, you guys, for that one. But I'm going to type this into the live chat here. It's bj@elegantthemes.com. If I can spell wood. Okay, cool. We're good. I apologize. Like I said before, when I was taking notes by hand, live chat and stuff like that is very hard while you're live because you keep the camera going. Y'all know how it is. You're experiencing it. Anywho, the next one on the under tutorials that I really wanted to get to and just let you see and point you in the direction of, I guess, is the beginner's guide to landing pages. Everybody knows how to make landing pages, but not everybody knows how to make a good landing page. The main thing about the landing page that you want to have is that you want it to convert. You don't want people to look at your site and then leave. That is the absolute last thing that you want. Getting them there is one thing. Keeping them there is something else. And then converting them into a user is yet again probably the hardest thing and the most important thing that you can do. And that's really what this article is about, is getting you to the point where you can get that conversion from a visitor to a user to a client or a customer, and that's really what you want. I like it. It just talks about starting out with your unique selling proposition and going from there, because you have to make yourself stand out immediately, and that's what good landing pages do. That's why things like click funnels and I can't remember what the other one is. I'm thinking lead. My brain died. I can't remember what it is. But why those pieces of software and template generators work so well. Then the Torque has an article, Torque Mag, the next to last one under resources, is how to block cookies on a WordPress website. And I wanted to point out for this one specifically, this is not for users. This is for admins. This is how to block cookies on a WordPress site, how to block your own cookies. This is a GDPR and CCPA. I did this last time too, and I can't remember. The California Act, as well as the EU Act, we are going to have a really, really, really strong cookie crackdown. And this gives you the 3 best ways to get the opt-in and cookies blocked. The thing is, a lot of these sites that use the banner on there don't actually block the cookies first. That's not what GDPR is. You have to block the cookies first, and then they have to opt in. So Torque actually points out that of these 3 that they suggest for giving you the cookie banner and giving you and blocking the cookies themselves so that you're GDPR compliant, only one of these, the last one, Ayubinda, is the only one of these that does it out of the box. That if you look at these and you install it, that the Ayubinda cookie solution is the one that will block the cookies with the plugin itself without any real extra work on your own. So that is definitely something to check out, because if you have a banner on your site, you're doing okay. You are ahead of the curve. Still got to block those cookies first. GDPR is opt-in, not opt-out. They have to say yes. You can limit the functionality of your site to cookies, as far as I'm aware. Like certain things have to be tied to cookies for them to work, but they have to say yes to that. So make sure that your site is doing that. That's really important, and it's only going to get more important. So Torque putting these plugins together as a list, letting you see where you are, what you got to do, really, really, really important for you guys. So make sure you click that link and check out the torquemag.io article. And the very last one, I just want to mention, I'm not going to go into in-depth. If you still have comments enabled on your blog or on your website or WordPress installation that you use for anything whatsoever, letting users report inappropriate comments is very, very important. You'll have Akismet to block spam, almost certainly. You might even have comment moderation on. But sometimes if you have your rules set to where if you've approved comments for them before, they can still get comments through, there's going to be something that has to be moderated still. So it just goes through a plugin that you can use to let people report directly to you comments that have broken through one way or another and have in some way impacted. Said last week I couldn't use that. Have some way made a negative impact on your terms of service and your users and website as a whole. Because generally, crowdsourcing reporting like that works really well. Think about the last time that you guys reported something that you saw on Twitter or Facebook that broke the rules of a group or the platform itself. People do it. People do it all the time. So why not let people do it for you and make your job a little bit easier? So that was the last one under tutorials. We've got about 10-ish minutes left to go through the resources, and they're pretty cool this week. The first one under resources is 8 free Google tools that every WordPress user should use. Most of these we know about. I mean, Google Analytics, which one of us out there doesn't use Google Analytics? Well, I mean, some people may rely more on the Jetpack stats, and that's fine. But most of the time, we have Google Analytics installed on pretty much everything. I even have a Google Analytics ID on the Libsyn site for my podcast that I don't even use as the main podcast website anymore. So everything has Google Analytics. We know that. So going through the rest of these, however, I learned about a Google service that I was unaware existed. It's called Google Optimize. And what it does is lets you set up an A/B test so that your website, you can test performance, how it's doing. It is super cool. I didn't know that there was a Google optimization that you can actually test out with users. It's in Divi as well. Make sure that you know this as well. This is another reason I wanted to bring it up, is you guys may not know that Google Optimize exists, because goodness knows I didn't know it existed, but I'm kind of not dug in deep onto the Google ecosystem. But also that A/B testing is super important, and I know that people had missed it in the past, and I want to point out again that that Elegant Themes, that Divi has built-in A/B testing features. That if you didn't know that on layouts and modules, that there are A/B testing built into the builder. So check that out. You can look on our blog and look for A/B testing. I believe Elegant Themes A/B testing actually comes up with the announcement, because that might have been how I found the blog last time to share with people. But it's really, really cool in there. I think that's a feature that flies under the radar for a lot of folks, and so I wanted to make sure that that's there. And video has a good idea. Accessibility without performance drawbacks. That is a can of worms. I don't even know where to begin on, but I will look. I'll make myself a note on that one. And see what I can come up with for that one. Got it written down on my Mac sticky notes that I use, so that I can check that out. And Torin says the most recent time was reporting a Brexiter who was threatening harm to a certain group of leaders. That's the kind of thing they're there for, Torin. I mean, the reporting. I mean. That when you see something that could potentially be legitimately dangerous, or that it is there. I had a friend who was at a storage unit one time and saw somebody moving giant boxes, like giant black cases out of storage, and then loading them into the back of a van. It was a big white van too. Loading them into a big white van, and then started carrying weapons in and out, like out of the storage unit, and putting them in the van. So he texted me and was like, "Do I report this?" And I'm like, "Yeah. This one's one where I'm not usually calling in on a person in real life, because I give people the benefit of the doubt." But that was like, yeah, that one's too creepy not to. That one could save somebody's life. That's not how's my driving, and which could save somebody's life too. But it's not somebody going too slow or something like that in traffic. But yeah, those kind of things, when somebody's threatening harm, or it appears as though somebody's threatening harm, absolutely. Hey, the darling, sweet. Just a second. But yeah, that's what those reporting features are there for, and it's great to take them seriously when it's necessary. And video, I think that applies to both of them. Video Hero, Superhero says it's getting real with lawyers, and both of them. On both accessibility without performance drawbacks and reporting for threatening harm. I think both of those are actually getting more real with lawyers every day. The others that I saw that were pretty neat, I'm going to have to briefly go through these because there are more than I can really go through. The product packaging, exceed customer expectations to gain loyal followers and repeat business, is a WooCommerce article that's a case study on looking at how packaging impacts people, how branding and you putting what you wrap your product in, how that affects people. They talk about just how that same kind of packaging can keep people on your team because they recognize something and it becomes familiar, and the same thing happens with branding online. There is a Code NWP article on security versus WordPress, security versus WordFence versus Malcare, which is the best security plugin. There are a million different security plugins, and there are 500 million different roundups on which one is the best. This one's one of those. Check it and see. You might learn something about them that you didn't. And if you haven't checked out Malcare, it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm still using WordFence on the ones I use because that's just where I'm at. But Malcare is good. I love Security as well. And Ava. And then there's a Yoast article further down that is what is user testing and why should you do it, which goes into the A/B testing and things like that we talked about earlier, because it is straight up better. Like, you will get better performance, you will get better conversion rates, you will get better revenue, better return. Everything that you get will be better if you test on different users and A/B test. No, sit. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the last ones are what's used. I did that one. The CMS to CMS review on actually migrating from one CMS to another. That's always a good thing to find out about. There are 12 Lifter LMS add-ons to power up your online courses, and that one is. I think a lot of you guys use Lifter LMS, actually, if I'm not mistaken, that you've mentioned in the past. And then the final one is 6 best WordPress forum plugins to create a discussion board. And as much as I love Discourse, there are some really good ones out there. Discourse has a better way to integrate with WordPress these days. There's a plugin. I'll be doing some work on it pretty soon on the blog, but these are also really, really awesome. I'm still a forum junkie. I can't help it. Anyway, you guys, I will get off of here. I see Andrew is woofing back at my dog, so I do apologize about that. She is wanting to join in on the conversation. Like I said, all comments are welcome. So you guys, I appreciate you guys coming in, taking the time out of your Friday to get to know each other, get to know us, and learn about WordPress with us. Remember to update Divi. Super important that you do that to get the WooCommerce update. Remember that your WooCommerce update will not show up if you don't have WooCommerce installed. So install WooCommerce, and then you'll have access to the widgets. I apologize to Sheldon for getting your dog upset. If my dog had heard yours, it would have been the same way. Truly apologize for that. And I will see you guys next Friday at 3. Tune in on Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern, and Mac will be going over the WooCommerce update with you for the feature update. And then Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern to see the use case scenario with Donyetta or Jason going through how to use Divi in a real-world situation. You guys have an absolutely magnificent weekend and week, and I will see you next week. Bye, y'all.